This session is on the AAU Regional Offices and Strategic Partners, chaired by Professor Teresa Kimbeng Nkwo Akenji. She is the AAU Vice President, Central Africa Region Vice Chancellor of Bamenda University. Put your hands together for Professor Teresa Kimbeng Nkwo Akenji.
Good morning, distinguished participants, and welcome to the 14th plenary session on reports from AAU regional offices and strategic partners. I'm going to go straight ahead to invite Professor Olusola Bandele Oyewole, who is already on stage, to pave the way towards the launch of the AAU Early Career Research Center of Excellence, and following an overview presentation by Prof. Oyewole, our Secretary General, we will hear from Professor Frederick Atto-Ama, Director of Research and Programs at the AAU. Professor Ama, please, can you come up? Professor Oyewole. Yeah.
Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, early career researchers, partners, and friends. For so many years, we have neglected our early career researchers. They just get employed in our universities, and they have nobody to guide them. It is with great pride and profound optimism that I stand before you today to officially launch the AAU Early Career Researchers Center of Excellence, an initiative that embodies our unwavering commitment to nurturing the next generation of African scholars and innovators. The African continent is brimming with talents, intellect, and potentials. Yet, as we all recognize, the journey for many early career researchers is fraught with challenges, limited resources, insufficient mentorship, and inadequate platform to translate their ideas into impactful solutions. These early career researchers centers of excellence, which we are launching today, seeks to address these gaps, providing a robust supportive ecosystem where early career researchers can thrive at every stage of their development. I want to especially appreciate Nottingham University, our regional office in Europe, for coming up with this initiative. Ladies and gentlemen, this center that we are talking about is not a physical facility. It's a bold vision. It is a strategic platform designed to strengthen the capacity of early career African researchers across the entire research pipeline. We aim to build on the vast existing knowledge and expertise that already exists within our continent, amplifying it through targeted capacity building programs, fostering collaborative research opportunities, and nurturing their strategic partnership, all rooted firmly in the African context. All you need to do as a university is to engage them as researchers or lecturers, then connect them to us and our African Center of Excellence for Early Researchers will nurture them up. By equipping these early researchers with the tools, networks, and opportunities that they need, the center will empower them to generate impactful knowledge that is not only world-class, but also deeply relevant to the unique challenges and opportunities that Africa faces today. I'm sure that They cannot get this experience in any other continent than in Africa. Our goal is to enable these talented individuals to contribute meaningfully to locally driven solutions, driving innovation and influencing policies that will shape the future of our continent and beyond. As the Association of African Universities, we are honored to champion this cause because we recognize that the advancement of Africa lies in the hands of our early researchers. These are the thinkers of tomorrow. These are the innovators that will make Africa to be proud tomorrow. These are the problem solvers who will steer us towards sustainable development, economic growth, and social progress. So we are not going to leave them alone to keep on rotting as has been in the past. I invite all stakeholders, university leaders, vice chancellors, governments, academic institutions, development partners, and the private sectors to join us in this important endeavor. Together, we can create an enabling environment where early researchers are supported, celebrated, and equipped to excel. I don't know if we have many of them who are here in this meeting, but this message we are sending will get to them. So to you who our early career researchers, I say this, your journey is just beginning. An AAU Early Career Researcher Centers of Excellence is here to work with you, to support you, to amplify your voices and your impact. We believe in the potentials of our young people, and we are committed to ensuring that they have opportunities to transform their ideas into realities that benefit Africa and the world. In the coming days, we'll be in touch with you to chart the path forward regarding this initiative, which are being implemented through our AAU European Regional Office at the University of Nottingham. Thank you for being part of this momentous occasion. Let us work hand in hand to build a future driven by knowledge, innovation, and African excellence. Please, vice chancellors and university leaders who are just hearing me today, join us to nurture these young ones for a greater future. Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to call on Professor Ama to share with you details about early researchers Centers of Excellence program in AAU. Professor Ama.
Thank you very much, Distinguished Secretary General, Professor Olushola Bandele Oyewole. Prof. Chair, with your permission, I would continue to talk about this briefly. So the AAU Early Career Researcher Center of Excellence aims to build a thriving African research innovation ecosystem using the young ones as the fulcrum. This initiative was birthed through other initiatives with the British Council and the British Academy, where in the last 5 years we've been training early career researchers. We bring them to Accra, and then we give them mentors who collaborate with them, building them. So the essence of this particular initiative is to strengthen the capacity of early career researchers using a pipeline approach, and then building on their existing knowledge and expertise. And then we try to do this by targeted capacity strengthening initiatives, research opportunities, and also strategic partnerships that are predicated within the African context. This definitely will help early career researchers to generate impactful knowledge and contribute to locally driven solutions that helps to inform policy, that is evidence-informed policy on the continent and beyond. So there are 3 dimensions or principles that underpin the early career researcher initiative. So we talk about principles for knowledge and academic exchange, making sure that these scholars understand the need for Afrocentric knowledge systems, context-specific capacity strengthening programs, and then also using research and practice for whatever they do in their career trajectory. We are looking at also gender-transformative approaches to be embedded in this particular initiative. The second domain is principles for collaboration and partnerships. We have the African Charter on Transformative Research Collaborations, and within it, we try to center stage equitable partnerships, reciprocal knowledge and exchange, collaborative research, capacity strengthening initiatives, and also have funders on board as our partners in this journey. The third element has to do with systemic change. A number of things that have occurred for 40, 50 years need to change from a systemic level. Issues about leadership. From the very beginning, we don't wait for them to get to mid-career before we try to groom them as leaders, but a priori, we take the opportunity to groom them as leaders. Institutional system strengthening. These scholars, early career researchers, are nested in universities across the continent, and these universities function as institutional ecosystems for research and innovation. So we need to strengthen that system. Mentorship and then also South-South cooperation. The mentors we've given these early career researchers are also within the Africa education landscape, and they know the terrain very well. The key characteristics of the center include the fact that we support early career researchers across all stages and from different disciplines, from lecturers who have master's degrees to postdoctoral scholars, with targeted support at each domain or at each level of their career trajectory. This is very important. The second element is also delivering a curriculum which is comprehensive with foundational research skills through to the advanced domain, and here help them to navigate publication challenges through online and in-person formats. We've been doing that for the past 5 years. Then the third element also adopts a multi-level mentorship approach, which then helps early career researchers to pair with seasoned scholars on the continent who will help them to learn from their peers in a sustained manner. Then we also engage these early career researchers when it comes to the publication cycle. The publication cycle. That is also a murky terrain. They need to know their way around in terms of selecting journals that are impactful, in terms of selecting journals that resonate with their core competencies and research skills, and then also make sure that we network them with international partners. And then we come to the principles of the African Charter, which I alluded to earlier on. The African Charter has identified 6 or 7 domains where we have systematic inequalities, and this mentorship scheme is helping scholars, early career researchers, to know what elements are in the Charter and to help them to also center stage the Charter as they forge partnerships internally and externally. We aim to have 10,500 early career researchers trained in the next 5 years. This is born out of the notion that if we train 500 in 5 years and each of them also train an additional 20, then in effect we have 10,500 early career researchers trained in the Centers of Excellence initiative. So we approach this from a cascading effect where early career researchers are expected to share their knowledge with at least 20 colleagues, and this we anticipate will exponentiate the impact. Yes, so we have the Centers of Excellence capacity strengthening programs, the various domains. In terms of the core research skills, competencies that we want to roll out, we are helping them to really understand what systematic literature reviews are, meta-analysis, how to design research, the kind of methodology that is most appropriate for what they intend to do, data analytics, data visualization, contextualizing research in Africa. I mean, when we do research on the continent, it must be contextualized to our situation for it to have the impact that we want to elicit. Then the elements of indigenous knowledge systems is also very important because we know that through colonialism, most of the knowledge systems that we have are Western-centric or Eurocentric, and therefore we need to also make sure that we are bringing on board indigenous knowledge systems that we have lived with for eons of time on the continent, and how that can also shape our intellect as we move forward. Then we talk about ethical processes, digital tools for research. This is very important. We want to make sure that these early career researchers are doing authentic and original research. Research that is transparent, research that is accountable, and the research that we can say that it's coming from them but not from any other source. That is the first element. The second element is about the interdisciplinary academic writing program. When we bring them together, these are scholars from different disciplines, some from biology, some from medicine, some from history, some from agricultural science, some from artificial intelligence. They come from different disciplines. And in that melting pot, they share ideas where they get cross-disciplinary perspectives when it comes to solving problems. And then we train them in grants writing, and then management of funds, fundraising. We also train them when it comes to career development elements in relation to strategic planning, publishing plans, and all of that. That is done in the second domain. The third domain is the Advanced Research Impact Program, and this is both in-person and online, where they write policy briefs. In the past decade, there's consensus that the scientific research outputs we have, that is just peer-reviewed publications, are not enough. We need to move to a domain where we are now engaging with policy makers in terms of science communications, the science policy interface, and therefore we are helping them to write policy briefs. A minister will not have time to read a 50-page paper. A vice chancellor will not have time to read a 50-page document. They will read very succinct documents that conveys the information in clear terms. So we are helping them to write policy briefs that are impactful for society as well. And then we come to elements about measuring research impact. Research impact has come to stay. How do we measure it? The metrics, the theories of change, the logic models, and impact frameworks are all elements that we are embedding in this training so that they have a landscape approach in terms of the way they approach research innovation on the continent. So this is the theory of change. You may not see it so clearly here, but then we talk about the inputs that we need, the capacity strengthening programs and outputs, midterm and long-term outcomes that we're envisioning, and then beyond the outcomes, we also want to make sure that we have enduring impact. And then the overall outcome is that we'll have African researchers and scholars that are empowered, as our Secretary General rightly said, they are empowered to generate and disseminate knowledge that addresses developmental challenges, influence policy on the continent, and also that will shape sustainable futures in Africa and globally. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is what the Africa Early Career Researchers Centers of Excellence is about. Thank you very much.
Professor Juliet. Yes. We are not doing this alone. We are doing it with our North African Regional Office, European Regional Office, represented here today by Professor Juliet from the University of Nottingham. Can you please come up as we celebrate this launch? Nottingham University. We are really proud of our collaboration with this university. They've been very useful to AAU. With them, we've organized the Early Career Researchers Capacity Building, I think last year. And then this other new initiative, we are going to have it together with the British Council. Can we just come up and take a group?